So I love working with Husker Dialogues because it's such a great opportunity for our incoming freshmen to just be able to really have good conversations around all the changes that they may be experiencing. Like, some of them, this is the most diverse place they've ever come to, and some of them it's the least diverse. And so everybody's having thoughts, and Husker Dialogues gives us a great chance to really just dive into having conversations around that.
And that's what I really enjoyed about being a guide, that we can provide those tools for them to ease them into these conversations. So I'm really excited about that.
It's just kind of like you're sitting in a circle and you're having a face-to-face conversation with everyone. You don't feel very closed off. You kind of have this big, I don't know, kind of small setting within the bigger group setting, so it feels a little bit more closer and intimate that way. But just sit down and go through prompts and kind of have conversations about things.
No, absolutely. And then the training that you are provided in and the resources and the tools definitely benefit and just help with easing that kind of concern that folks may have. So everything's kind of laid out in a way that's just you just kind of got to show up, really.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And also there's staff on hand if you get kind of a hot topic or somebody maybe has some responses that you don't know quite how to handle. There's people who are there to back you up.
I think it's also important if you're nervous. It sounds a lot more intense than it is, I think, when you get there. Like, then it really does pay off, because after your first session, you're gonna walk away and feel amazing because you gotta have those conversations. So I just think it's worth taking a chance at least to do it.
Yeah, and because I enjoyed it so much, I tell a lot of colleagues and other people just this is really an easy thing to do and a great way to make an impact on campus. So try to encourage other people to be guides too, because I know we can always use more.